Hey, what's up, zoners? Today we got the top 5 best and the top 5 worst wide receiver quarterback matchups for week 18. We're also going to be going over each of the defenses that these players are going to be going against if they run heavy man or zone and how that affects these matchups. We have 2 rookie wide receivers, man. We're going to be talking about today, both of which were taken in the first round of the NFL this last season. One is going to be unstartable, man. Unstartable going against Arizona, against the best slot quarterback in the league. They run a lot of zone. This guy doesn't get targets versus zone. The other one we're going to be talking about is going to keep on breaking out. He's been getting a ton of targets, and that will continue this week, all right? My New Year's resolution is to get even better at fantasy football, and that's happening right now. You can do it! All right, you are looking at a table from fantasypoints.com. Google it and follow along. First up, man, the breakout wide receiver for the Washington Commanders, man, getting more points than Terry McLaurin, for God's sakes, all right? Oladime Zacharias, 41.6 route participation. That's a first column. We want that to be at 90%. That is elite. 41.6. That is because he just came out of nowhere. He wasn't even running routes, man, a month ago. So this is for the season. I bet this is about 80% right now. He sticks to one side, and he gets, 0.41 fantasy points per route run. 0.4 is good. 0.50 is very good. 0.6, that's like Jamar Chase. That is elite. That was what we are chasing, all right? And he's going against Dallas's worst cornerback. You know what? This guy only played like 2 games. I forget who their cornerback was, but he went down injured. So this guy just got thrown in here, all right? So the breakout wide receiver for the Commanders is probably going to continue to break out. So this guy's giving up 0.76. We know that is not realistic if you watch this show, man. 0.4 is kind of realistic. I think that's about as high as it goes. We're going to see that in a minute. But 0.76, man, you would get cut from your team if you were doing that all season long. He's only been doing it for a couple games, filling in for an injured cornerback. So, man, Oladime is good to go. Let's talk about zone versus man for him. Dallas plays man and zone at an average rate. They rank 30th in man, so they're terrible versus man. 22nd in zone, so a little bit better versus zone. And he gets, targeted 18.5% of the time. That's his target share versus man. That goes up a little bit versus zone, all right? And he does a lot better versus zone, 0.34 fantasy points per route run. That goes down to 0.2 versus man. So he is much better versus zone. The problem is that Dallas plays zone a little bit better than their man. So, all right, man, next up, Terry McLaurin is going against Mr. Pick Six himself. Dallas's cornerback, DaRon Bland, he's going to be shadowed. That's what that highlighting means. So Terry McLaurin, only at 78.3 route participation. I would like to see that at 85%. I don't really understand that. And check this out, man. He sticks to one side, the left side, which means he's going to be covered by the right cornerback 58% of the time. So he should be shadowed anyways. That should not matter. DaRon Bland is doing all right. 0.21 fantasy points per route run allowed. But we got Terry McLaurin over here, man, getting 0.52. We spoke about that a minute ago. That is very good. And he is the red zone target for the most part. He gets all his points through touchdowns. Let's look at man versus zone, though, real fast. Again, Dallas is average at both. And he does get targeted a little bit more. 24% versus man, goes down to 20 versus zone. And also, fantasy points per route run at 0.58 versus man, 0.51 versus zone. Dude, 6 targets and 100 yards and a touchdown versus Dallas. Week 12, the last time they faced. So not only does he have a great matchup and he's being shadowed by a cornerback he can beat. He did well, 100 yards and a touchdown last time they went against each other. So Terry McLaurin, man, smash play this week. Next up, Zay Flowers, finally somebody with a higher route participation, man, 87% pretty much. And we'd like to see them spread out. I like to see 33, 33, 33 is if I had my choice. But, man, this guy sticks to one side for the most part. And he gets Denzel Ward's side. All right, so Denzel Ward, all right, my brother from another mother. All right, I'm Tyler Big Turd Ward. Dude, this guy came in, played cornerback great for a couple of years, and now this guy's one of the worst cornerbacks in the NFL. Check this out, dude. Cleveland. The backfield for Cleveland sucks. So Zay Flowers, man, should do well this week. Let's see, 0.46 fantasy points per route run. I thought he was going to break out this season. I thought that was going to be a 10th higher, 0.56. But still, man, doing pretty well. All right? So great matchup. Denzel Ward, man, giving up 0.33 fantasy points per route run. Holy shit. So let's see. Cleveland plays man. So man versus zone for Zay Flowers. at a second highest rate. So Cleveland plays man all the time, and they rate 20th in it. So they're not very good, and they play it all the time. And guess what, dude? Versus man versus zone, it does not matter for Zay Flowers. Still about a 23% target share in each, and 0.4 to 0.44 for zone. So it does not matter. I just like Zay Flowers' matchup this week. And if you look at the past, man, the last time they went against Cleveland, 12 targets, 115 yards in week 8. So Zay Flowers, man, if you're ever going to start him, this would be the week. And then, hey, next up, man, we're going to be talking about Drake London. All right, I'm skipping some people. I think that DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to be sitting this week. And you're not starting any of these people. And if you did, you probably did not make the championship. So Atlanta, wide receiver Drake London, man, 83.5%. I'm surprised that is not like in the high 80s, but still, he's getting closer. All right, they do spread him around 29%, 30%, 41%. So I like that. He plays a lot in the slot. 0.50 fantasy points per route run. So that is very good. So even with the shitty quarterback play this year, man, from fucking Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. lately, for God's sakes, he still has 0.50. He's going against Carolina's worst cornerback. So Carolina's actually been stopping the wide receiver pretty well lately. I've been talking about that. You just run all over him. I think that's more the case. But, hey, man, at least he's going to get the worst cornerback there, one of the worst cornerbacks in the league. Mike Jackson does not play any slot whatsoever, but he is on the outside. So, what, man, like 70% of the time he will be on the outside as well. 0.34 fantasy points per route run is given up. And let's look at man versus zone. So Carolina plays zone at a 10th highest rate, and they rank 30th at it. So they are terrible versus zone. All right, but that sucks because Drake London is not that great versus zone. He's amazing versus man, dude. 32% target share and a 0.81 fantasy points per route run for man. So if he ever goes against man, it is fucking lights out. Now versus a heavy zone, maybe not so much. 23% and a 0.38 fantasy points per route run. I still love Drake London this week, but it is not like the best matchup in the world. All right, next up, Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, 82.5% route participation. That should be like at 90, man. You drafted him in the first round. Who's your second wide receiver, for God's sakes, man? Michael Wilson? So anyways, they have been kind of spreading him around. At least they put him in the slot and on both sides. 0.38 fantasy points per route run. That is almost good, all right? So 0.4 is good. 0.5, very good. He's doing good. Well, we'll say that's what he's doing well. He's going against San Francisco's worst cornerback, man, Renardo Green. He plays on the outside most of the time. 0.37 fantasy points per route run he's given up. So Marvin Harrison Jr. not only has a great matchup, but he has been targeted, man. 8+ targets in 4 of the last 5 games. Holy shit, man. So San Francisco man versus zone. Let's look at that real fast. They play at an average rate, and they rank below average in man. So man is their weakness. So guess what, man? MHJ gets man. He gets a 29% target share in man. That goes down 11% in zone. So he's much better versus man when he's just relying on his athleticism. 0.49 fantasy points per route run. So, dude, that's great. 0.33 versus zone. And all those targets over the last, 4 games, dude? 5 games? So, yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. versus San Francisco. I actually like a ton this week. All right, let's move on to the top 5 worst wide receiver cornerback matchups for week 18. All right, so there are going to be a lot of cornerbacks that are playing or projected to play that have not played this season, so there's no data on them. Ja'Marr Chase is going to tear shit up. And then Amari Cooper as well, we're not going to cover because Alex Austin is who he's going against, and he's only been playing for 3 games. So that's actually probably going to be a good matchup for him. He is from my Oregon State, Alex Austin is, but he's a second-year player, and Amari Cooper's probably going to tear him up. So we're not going to count that. Let's start off with Xavier Worthy, man, getting shadowed by Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain, man, played against, Ja'Marr Chase for like 76% of snaps and only allowed like 20 yards or some shit like that to him. And yeah, Ja'Marr Chase got all those other yards against other cornerbacks. So Xavier Worthy, man, is going to have a tough week. And he's been breaking out for like the last 3 weeks plus, maybe. He's got a 73% route participation. I do not like that. But I'm sure that is going up because he was not playing a ton in the first half of the season. And then, hey, he sticks to one side. Does not matter because he's being, he's going to be shadowed by the best cornerback in the league. He is scoring, 0.33 fantasy points per route run. That is just okay. I'm sure that's been up about 0.50 for the last month because he has been breaking out. Patrick Surtain, though, man, if he's on you, he does not allow any points. 0.13 fantasy points per route run allowed. Holy shit, that's not good. And then Denver, man, they play man at the 5th highest rate, and they rank 30th at it, so that's not great. But still, Surtain playing man, that's what you want. And Xavier Worthy, his target share is at 23% versus man. It goes down to 14% versus zone. So again, relying on his athleticism, 0.31 fantasy points per route run versus man, and that goes down to 0.25 versus zone. So hey, man, 9+ targets in each of the last 3, and he's better versus man. Xavier Worthy has a chance to be a flex this week. I just don't see him being amazing. So even though he's got a bad matchup with the man versus zone, he might be okay. Let's see. DJ Moore coming up next, man. 93% route participation. Holy shit, man. That is elite. That is elite. We got Jamar Chase, man, at 94, 95. So, man, DJ Moore running a ton of routes. I love that. And they're spreading him around pretty much. He's running a quarter of his routes out of the slot. So that is pretty amazing as well. 0.35 fantasy points per route run. That's where the amazing ends. That's where he is just okay. And it has been a shit show as of late. It's been all Keenan Allen. And, dude, this Valentine, all right, Valentine for Green Bay Packers, he is no joke. 0.15 fantasy points per route run allowed. He just went against the Vikings last game, and he was matched up against, I think it was Addison or Justin Jefferson. I can't remember. But he did well for the first half. Not so much the second half. DJ Moore, though, man, does not have that offensive coordinator and Sam Darnold on the ball right now, dude. So DJ Moore, barely a flex this week. Next up, Cortland. Oh, yeah. You know what? Man versus zone for DJ Moore. Packers played zone at the 12th highest rate and rank, 5th in it? So they play zone well. And that is DJ Moore's strength, man, is zone. So, DJ Moore is not going to have a good game this week. So DJ Moore has a 21% target share rate and a 0.36 fantasy points per route run versus zone. And that goes down about 3% and 0.1 in man. So he should do better, but this is exactly what the Packers play well in. So DJ Moore, bad week for him. Then Cortland Sutton, next up, man, 76% route participation. I still don't understand that. That should be at least 85%. 0.44, so he's almost very good. He's almost at that 0.50. And he gets, dude, this guy's been amazing all season long. Been one of the best cornerbacks in the league all season long. Not Trent McDuffie and all this. So Kansas City might be sitting players, but this guy is young. I want to say he's a second-year player, maybe. 0.15 fantasy points per route run he's allowing. Holy shit, man. So Cortland Sutton 6 to one side, and that is exactly the side that Joshua Williams plays, man, 68% of the time. So Cortland Sutton does not have a great matchup there. And then Kansas City plays zone at the 8th highest rate. And if you know about this show, man, Cortland Sutton is amazing versus man. So like 27% target share, 0.66 fantasy points per route run. That goes down to 22% target share, 0.3 versus zone. So not lining up for Sutton to do well this week. And then here we go, dude. Ricky Pearsall, all right? 66% route participation. They have needed him a little bit more lately, so I expect that to be in the 75%. And he is a slot wide receiver for the most part, man. 0.30 fantasy points per route run. He broke out last game, so you're probably tempted to play him this game. Dude, there's 2 good slot cornerbacks in the league. One for the Jets and one for Arizona, all right? Actually, Dallas has been pretty good as well. But still, he held down JSN twice for the most part. Garrett Williams, man, 0.16 fantasy points per route run he's allowing. 87% he's playing in the slot, so all the time. Ricky Pearsall, man, does not match up well there. And check out the man versus zone. This is not good either. Arizona plays zone 10th highest rate, and they do not rank well at it, but still, man, they play zone a lot. And versus zone, man, he only has a 10% target share. Pearsall does. That goes up to 17% versus man, so he needs man. And also 0.22 fantasy points per route run versus man. That goes down to 0.16 versus zone. So not lining up for Pearsall. I would not start him at all. Next up, dude, we got Jerry Jeudy. All right. He's entering Jamar Chase for me. I don't care how bad the matchup is. He's going to get 15 plus targets. So what do I fucking care? He's starting. He's going to be starting for my team if I've got Jerry Jeudy. So 86% route participation. That's got to be like 95% over the last month and a half. Holy shit. And he does what we want, man. Perfect would be 33% across the board. He's at 32, 36. 0.37 fantasy points per route run. I'm surprised that's not higher. but still half that season was with Deshaun Watson, for God's sakes. And he gets Baltimore's rookie. This is the first, they've drafted this rookie, in the first round? He's been playing awesome. So he sticks to one side for the most part, but he's still going to get him most of the time. He's only allowing 0.17 fantasy points per route run. So Jerry Jeudy is going to be facing that tough rookie cornerback for most of the game. But hey, they spread him around. So Jerry Jeudy, I'm not afraid of. And Baltimore plays man at a 10th highest rate. And Jerry Jeudy, surprisingly, gets much more targets versus zone than man. So 16% versus man. That goes up to 19 versus zone. And about the same, 0.35 in both. So yeah, man, Jerry Jeudy, I would still start regardless. All right, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. If you actually did like the show, please give me a thumbs up. That sends me out to more people and gives me more chances to get thumbs up and to get sound out all over again. So please help me do that. Hopefully I earned a thumbs up. Hopefully I earned a subscription. We're trying to get to 2,000 by the end of the season, and that cannot happen without you. So please help us out. That would be tremendous. This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward. This is the Fantasy Red Zone, and we appreciate